Father, we bless you. Let your name be exalted in the name of Jesus. Today, the Lord will be speaking to us on a topic that says the ministry of Moses, part 7. The ministry of Moses, part 7. And we're going to take our text from Exodus chapter 8, verse 20 to 32. There are two major places where Moses and Aaron usually meet with the king. The first place is the palace, and the other place is by the wayside. By the wayside, when the king is going to the riverside, so the Lord will tell his servant, and he would lead them to the exact place they are to wait for the king. The same God that sent them gave them accurate information about the location of the king per time. So if they don't meet the king in the palace, they will meet him on his way to the river. God then instructed the Israelites, God instructed them to tell Pharaoh that if he refused to let go of his people, that swarms of flies will come upon the land. I want us to know that when God uses I will, he is not just being futuristic. He is also referring to the past and the present. When God says, I will bless you, that can be I have blessed you, and it can mean I am blessing you, and it can be futuristic. Let us consider verse 22 to 23. And I will separate in that day the land of Goshen, in which my people dwell, that no swarms of flies shall be there, to the end thou mayest know that I am the Lord in the midst of the earth. And I will put a division between my people and thy people. Tomorrow shall this sign be. The word I will, as used by God here, is not futuristic. It is referring to the past, because his people have not suffered from any of those plagues from the beginning. God was not saying, this time I won't let my people suffer my plague as they have suffered from the beginning. No, that's not what God is saying. He was saying, now I will ensure I keep my people from this evil as I have been doing, and I won't stop demarcating my people from your people. This revelation will not be too hard for you to follow if you believe God as the one who was, who is, and who is to come. When Pharaoh saw that the flies were uncontrollable, he called Moses and said, if you want to make sacrifice unto your God, you can do it. Pick any place in the land of Egypt and do all you want. You can see that in verse 25. But Moses replied him frankly and said that he told the king that the Egyptians are corrupt, and that he can't use the corrupt things in their land to sacrifice to an incorruptible God. He will lead the Israelites out of Egypt and make a 3-day journey into the wilderness in order to sacrifice as the Lord has commanded. You can see that in verse 26 to 27. Many of us neglect what the Lord has commanded, and we begin to do what the king, what the king has commanded, just because we do not have the fear of God. Many of us, we will choose to neglect what the Lord have told us and begin to do what the king is saying just because we found ourselves in the palace. The king was willing to give Moses a place in Egypt for the sacrifice and even free cattle and other materials for the sacrifice. But Moses said no. Strong men are people who have been so rooted in God that things can no longer move them. They are not necessarily with people, they are not, strong men are not necessarily people with big muscles and, six packs. From the response of Pharaoh, it was clear that when the Lord said, "Let my people go," he thought God was only saying that he should give them a permission to sacrifice unto him, and after the sacrifice, they can now continue their slavery. He thought God was saying, "You can keep my people under your bondage in Egypt, but please ensure that you give them at least 3 hours break daily so that they can make sacrifices and then return." He failed to understand that the Lord wanted to set his people free from Egypt and their bondage completely. Strong men are those people who can say no. They are people who are not moved by things, not people with big muscles or big stature. In the spirit, strong men are those who can stand on their ground for Christ. Pharaoh said, "You can take away, but you can take away, but you can take them away, but please don't take them far from here." What a what a foolish king. This shows that he enjoys seeing them suffer because of the gain he will get, and he is not concerned about their service to God. You can see that in verse 28. When Moses left the presence of the king, he went to pray. He went to pray out what he said out. The Lord heard him, and the evil ceased. But the heart of Pharaoh was hardened. He was not ready to do what he had said. One of the signs you will see in the life of someone and know that this person is close to destruction is that he or she will never keep to his word or our word. They will make promises and break it. They will say what they don't mean and mean what they don't say. May you never choose to journey with people whose destination is destruction. In the name of Jesus. This is the wisdom of God. Don't sell it.